What's going on, guys? Hope you are having a great day out there today, guys. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a shop video, I guess. We're going to talk about some of the past bashes we've had over the last few days with the Outcast, the Red Bull, the Sledge, and what's all been broken, what happened, kind of the aftermath after the things. And a lot of times, get a lot of questions saying, oh, well, what broke after the bash, or what ended up being broken, or what happened? Did it actually survive? We're going to talk about a couple of the cars, after the last couple runs, and what did break, what didn't break, and, some changes I made to a couple other cars here recently. So if you guys are interested in a little video, stick around, guys. Should be interesting. All right, well, I think the first one we're going to go over here is the new Traxxas Sled. You guys have seen lots of videos of me having this thing out there, down at the skate park, the motocross track, and even out there on the ramp. We finally busted out and gave some of these cars some pretty decent sends. The Sledge overall has been an awesome car, guys. Been having a ton of fun with this thing. I have recently made a few minor upgrades, changes to it, and there are many huge upgrades to come on this thing. Some major improvements coming from M2C, guys. Just wait to see what is coming along for this car. I've seen some pictures and what M2C is putting together for the Traxxas Sledge, and it's going to make this car awesome and make it a lot more flexibility. I guess the best way to say that, with motor options, ESC options, and gearing options. As you guys can see, I changed out the motor on this. I have a 1700 kV rocket motor in here. Motor ran great on the last bash. It definitely needs some gearing, but the ESC does not quite pack enough oomph to drive this motor. So I will be probably changing out the ESC here. In the next few days, I will be receiving the prototype M2C Racing motor mount and center diff setup, and we'll be getting that installed. And I'll show you guys the video on that and how the installation goes and what it looks like. But overall, really happy with the Sledge. Biggest changes and the biggest improvement I did to this car is putting the silicone earplugs in the center differential. Helped this car immensely with traction and keeping those front tires from ballooning so much. It's been running great, super happy with it, and overall, really enjoying the car. Really excited to get the new motor mount because it's going to allow you to put whatever gearing you want on this thing, and also it's going to be a one-piece design. It's no longer going to be this goofy two-piece motor mount and transmission. It's going to go with a proven setup, and you guys will get to see what it looks like here, and get some more fun with this car and do a few little changes on this thing and making this thing more fun. But overall, the platform has been awesome. But really, that's been it. I haven't really had anything break on it. The only thing weird I did have on the Sledge that started happening to me was, sorry, the camera's not focusing. Doesn't want to focus, guys. Good old technical difficulty problems. But there we go. The pins on the drive shafts, I've had two of them now start falling out. I have pulled them out. I pulled the drive shafts out and actually took a TIG welder and put a small tack on either side of the pin on the outside part of the pin, facing going down the drive shaft so that it's not in the way of the cup. I put a small tack on either one of them. So far, it's been holding up. But other than that, boy, my camera is not acting nice today. But other than that, guys, that's been the only real issue I've had with the car so far, are the pins falling out of the drive shafts. Besides that, it's been a beast. But let's move on to something else now. All right, well, we're going to bust out the Creighton XL here at Red Bull. Had this thing out on the last ramp bash, and guys, this car is amazing. With the handling, the air control, and everything about this car is just exactly what you want in a great basher. This car has just been awesome, and I'm super happy with the build on this thing. And for anybody that doesn't know, the Creighton XL is basically a mixture between a Creighton 6S and a Mojave. It's got the Mojave chassis with the Mojave side skirts. And that's pretty much it. The main thing is the chassis and the side skirts, and also the center brace and the front drive shaft you have to change out. Besides that, that's all there is to it. Awesome build. Also, a few upgrades I put on this thing. Obviously, this thing has got the M2C Racing center braces, the M2C Racing chassis under this thing, and it has just been holding up like a beast. And also, guys, the 3D RC front bumper brace and wing mounts have been holding up incredible on this thing. Really been impressed and really happy with 3D RC wing mounts and the stuff that he's producing, guys. If you guys haven't checked him out, go check out 3D RC online, and he's got a full site there for lots of products for different cars. And the products have been, so far, been super happy with them. They've been holding up great. But On the last bash, the ramp, the car came back. Pretty much nothing wrong with it. Car held up awesome. The only thing I did do it after the bash, and the mainly reason was because the upper hinge pins, well, not the pins, but the upper A-arms were getting very sloppy. The holes must have been getting, kind of ovaled out a bit, and there was getting a lot of slop in there. So I put the RPM uppers on here. I'm running the stock EXB lowers A-arms, but I'm running the RPM upper A-arms on this thing now. And I tightened everything up real nice and snug. There's no more play anywhere. But car's been awesome. I've got the hot racing differential on the rear. And also running the Power HD servo in this thing. Been a great servo. Really happy with the servo in this thing. But that's pretty much it, guys. The Red Bull Creighton XL has just been an awesome rig, and couldn't be happier with this thing. And definitely my first go-to when I want to just go out there and send the car and have some fun. But we're going to bust out, I think, the Outcast 8S next, because you guys definitely seen some videos with that thing, and it is taking some serious abuse. Alrighty, well, we got the Outcast 8S EXB out here, guys. This truck has just been another just awesome for fifth scale truck. The power, handling, and control of this thing has just been beautiful. I have been really loving the Creighton 8S now. After many upgrades to this thing between the chassis, shock shafts, and a few different things, that car has just been a beast now, and having a ton of fun with it. When I first got it, it kind of felt brittle. I was a little bit scared to really launch this thing, but after a few upgrades for M2C Racing between the chassis and the shock shafts, the thing has just been a beast. And also I am running the RPM A-arms all the way around on that car, and they have been holding up great on the fifth scale cars. But on the last bash with the Outcast 8S here, I'm going to widen this eye a little bit. This thing took some pretty big jumps, especially for a fifth scale car, guys. If you guys caught that video down at the motocross track, I mean, this thing was catching some massive air. And was down there launching it. I mean, I probably did that jump a dozen plus times, and never had a single problem with it. And right near the end of the day, I go flying into one of these smaller jumps. The thing catches a weird bump, cartwheels off the top of the jump, and rolls for probably 50 yards or more. Ended up breaking the lower A-arm. The upper A-arm, which you can see, I'm still waiting for it to come. The top one's still cracked. It's the only thing I'm waiting for still, are the upper A-arms for this. But they broke the lower A-arm, very lightly tweaked the front shock. I mean, as you can see, it doesn't stick. It is slightly bent, so at some point I'm going to replace that. But it's not really affecting performance right now, and it's not sticking at all. I pulled the shock off, and it seems to be working normal. So at some point, I will change the shock shaft. But for now, she's still working. But we got the Castle, the Mama Monster XLX2 system in here, and this system has been working great in this car. Couldn't be happier with it. The only other thing that happened during that bash, or at the end of that bash, they were all connected. Whenever it jarred this front end really hard, it tweaked that servo really bad. I had the stock Spectrum, like the one and a half. I forget what they call that, like the half servo or the 3/4 servo. Sorry, guys, I honestly can't remember what they call that. But it wasn't the full-size servo, so I have now put in here the Hobby Star 6912, I believe. It's the full-size servo. I had the other battery box, or the other receiver box that they send you with this car. They give you the option for either the smaller servo or the full-size. So I changed out the receiver box and the whole thing, put the full-size servo in here. That servo is working great. Got a lot more power. So all I got to wait for is the upper A-arm for that thing, and the Outcast 8S will be back in business again. But other than that, again, 3D RC printed mount for the front bumper and the rear wing mount on this thing have been holding up awesome. I mean, some of the tumbles that this car took and the parts, the wing mounts from 3D RC have been holding up great. And, of course, this thing's got a load of M2C goodies under here. I got the center brace ends that I changed out from the M2C because I was breaking these plastic ones a lot. I left a couple of them plastic just so that there is some sort of weak point, but most of them were changed out. It's got the M2C Racing heavy-duty drive shafts in here, all the way around all four wheels and in the centers. And, of course, it's got the M2C Racing chassis under this thing. And I am running all the stock A-arms on this. The stock ones have been holding up great. Unless you do a really nasty full throttle barrel roll for 50 yards, something's bound to break. I mean, that stuff you can't really fault the car or the A-arms. I mean, they're only meant to put up with so much, guys. But the car has been awesome, and couldn't be happier with this thing. But that's what ended up breaking on that bash. Trying to think what other cars we had out here recently. Finally got the Max fixed up. We got the after the last bash on that down at the skate park, that thing came home in one piece. I don't believe I had anything happen with this car. I looked it over. Everything's in one piece. After putting the M2C Racing center brace on this car, I came home and I didn't have any broken bulkheads, so that thing held up great. I haven't had the Italian Hoagie out for a little bit. The Typhon's been a great car. The X-Max, I know this is a long-winded little rant or speech here right now, right? Guys are probably loving this. But the X-Max is all fixed up and ready to roll again. As you guys can see, I have now put on the Copperhead tires from the Creighton 8S onto the X-Max. I haven't ran it yet like this, but those Proline belted tires I have on this thing, they hold up. They don't blow out. However, I hate the tires. I hate the air control. I hate the traction. For what I do with the car, I'm liking to jump this thing and have some air control. It's just those Proline tires, they're just not for me. So I got a brand new set of the Copperheads I put on the X-Max here. And we're going to try this. I haven't taken it out yet and ran them, but I'm hoping they hold up, and hopefully they don't blow off the rim too fast. Also, the Big Rock 4S. This thing, for the 3S platform, guys, that thing put up with some serious punishment on the bash. The only thing I ended up breaking was the bottom C-hub on here, the bearing carrier and all that. I have one of those on order. It should be here in the next couple days, and that's all that broke on the Big Rock. It held up really great, too. Didn't have any issues with it. I know the Limitless recently had this thing out for a run, and this thing was a massive fail. I don't know where I'm at, honestly, guys, with the speed run cars. I'm a little bit on the apprehensive side at this point to even continue with the speed runs. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. The ESC burned up in this thing. Of course, it's not warranted. So I'm not sure what to do. I decided to throw another ESC in here. I had the ESC actually from the Creighton 8S. I threw that in here hooked up to this motor, and I ran the car out in my back parking lot for about 3 minutes, and the whole thing overheated and shut down. So I don't know if the motor's bad too, or what is going on with this car at this time. Since it burned up the Castle ESC and it overheated the Fermi ESC in just a couple minutes of just lightly just making a couple quick little 50, 100-yard passes, it overheated and shut down really fast. So I'm starting to wonder if the motors may be bad on this thing, and I don't know where I'm at with the limits. There's probably not going to be any speed run videos anytime soon with this thing because I'm honestly not sure what I'm going to do with it, or if I'm going to keep it around. I might sell it, do a giveaway, who knows. As you guys know, the dirt and a little bit of airtime is a little more my style. I do enjoy the speed runs occasionally, but the car has become more aggravation and too much of a pain than the fun factor that it gives at this point. So I'm not going to sit there and beat my head against the wall, and continue something that my heart's really not in. But that's pretty much it, guys. I just kind of want to go over a few things and let you guys know, what really all broke. Some guys show the bashing and the car's flying out there, but don't ever really discuss what happens or what breakages or what the consequences are afterwards. And that's the honest truth on there and what's all been broken and what happened after the last couple bashes I had. But I hope you guys enjoyed a little video on the cars, and now there'll be plenty more bashing to come here. The weather's getting better and better, but unfortunately, it's a rainy day today. But that's going to do it, guys. So until next time, y'all be safe. Be careful out there. Peace out, everybody.